It's one of the most iconic circuits on the Formula One calendar. It takes 6 weeks to build and 3 weeks to pull apart. But here in the Aussie Racing League, we're going to try and do it in one race session. Hello and welcome to round 4 of the championship of season 6. The inaugural race was run in 1929 and taken out by a Bugatti. Which manufacturer will do it here today? Let's take a look at the circuit layout. 3.3 kilometres in length, 19 turns, no straights to speak of, really. One DRS zone and plenty of concrete.
Alright, hello everyone and welcome to our Prodigy division here at Monaco. I'm old mate James. Joining me in the box is the GOAT, HK himself.
Hello sir, how are you tonight?
Yeah, I'm alright. It's going to be an interesting race here tonight at Monaco as we'll try and avoid as many safety cars and as many 18 car pile-ups as possible. We'll see how we go.
It's funny you say that. I was nearly going to say to you, let's just mute the end of the intro and I'll do it live. Something like, welcome along to round 4 of the ARL Championship of Season 6. Who will take out the win here at Monaco? In fact, how many cars will finish? How many cars will be taken out in turn 1? You know, like it's just... Look, and I've got to say, I love the fact that we're racing under lights here at Monaco. It looks absolutely sensational. One of those tracks
really
where it's really difficult to overtake. Track position probably more vital at this race circuit, so qualifying extremely important than any other race on the calendar. A lot of people, should we be racing here? Shouldn't we be racing here? Hey, look, they race here in IRL and they've got to put up with the same stuff. So if we want to be representative of that, yeah, why the hell not? Just learn to drive properly. It's the hard part about it though, isn't it?
It's as you said, yeah, under lights here, so a night race. Monaco obviously typically a daytime racing event, so it is, as I said, really beautiful to see it under those lights. And we're about to have our first time of the session being LJ, who will set a 1:12.0.
Yeah, I don't know a great deal about wow, those times changed
There's
pretty quick.
Bassink and Hester pipping him already. 11.3 this early on in the session is quite impressive, and it looks like we have an Alfa Romeo stopped somewhere on the line.
Oh.
Yeah, and the Haas of Joe has gone into him as well. So that was Striker in the Alfa Romeo crashed on the straight somehow.
It's so difficult, isn't it? It's just nearly every corner here is a blind corner. And look, he's got to go, that Haas has got to go all the way around before it can go back into the pits. And I got caught out last night with that, where I came down through a chicane, just run a little bit wide because I had no front wing, bounced across the ripple strip, and all of a sudden, bang, I was into a wall and out of the race. It's shocking. Tadachi out on track at the moment. High hopes for him for the Ferrari camp.
He just set an 11.7, and it looks like he may have actually been held up in the latter part of that lap due to the Red Bull in front of him, which I believe is Buster. No, it's not Buster, it's Zvetsky. So yeah, 11.7 with being held up a little bit there is actually quite impressive by Tadachi there. So yeah, high hopes indeed.
Oh, it's a difficult track to get around there because you need to push. As you know, old mate James, you need to push all the time around here, but you push that half an inch too much and bang, it's all over. It's so easy to destroy your race. And, you know, I think that's another discipline that comes into racing here at Monaco. It's less about, I mean, obviously, if you can get pole position, you're in a very handy spot. But if you can't, it's all about trying to stay out of trouble and just letting the race evolve. And if I can be absolutely 100% sincere and straight down the line, just let the people in front of you crash out and pick up free spots.
Yeah, that definitely is a legitimate strategy further down. Ooh, as we see Werribee hit the wall quite hard there. It's definitely a legitimate strategy down in the you know, the novice division, the academy division. It looks like Werribee may have aborted that lap. Oh, and we see an Alfa Romeo stopped on the line. That must be Striker's car, and then Werribee goes straight into the wall.
Oh, so he'll be out of is he actually got yeah,
What's
oh no, he's managed to back it up. So
have we got? We've got no one coming up. Oh, we've got Shinuti coming up towards the start-finish straight. We'll see what's going on with that Alfa Romeo. That appears to be a game bug where he is somehow formed up on the grid, and he is right on the racing line there. So that's incredibly dangerous.
oh.
He's DNF'd out of the race, but his car is parked on the grid during qualifying. So
Yeah, average place for a bug to happen, isn't it? Like
it's a
just
very interesting bug. I've never seen anything like that before in the Codemasters games. Oh, as we see Nordl go around right before swimming pool and completely lose his front wing. Flashbacks to Mick Schumacher there from earlier in the year.
that's just hard luck for him. He's not having a great deal of luck this season. I'm just on board with Buster at the moment, who looks to be on an absolute flying lap at the moment, trying to find that time required to get him into. Yeah, oh, he's actually way down on his ZRS, so he must have just completed that lap to get up into third spot. Buster's a very capable pilot on his day, it has to be said.
Yeah, he's currently sitting P3 with an 11.5, so only 3 tenths off the lead there, or 3.5 tenths. And
So should not. Sorry.
so with Kev as well, actually going around to improve, it'll be his second up, and it looks like he's managed to keep it fairly clean through Sector 1. We'll see what his time is at the end of Sector 2. So he's got a lot of time to make around here to move up the grid, but it looks like his first lap may have been in the boarded lap. That's why it's a little bit slower.
So at the moment, with 10 minutes left to go in qualifying, Shinuti is out in front. Hester's in the second at the moment. Then we go to Buster, Tadachi, Bassing. Good qualifying so far from Bass. Zeski's in sixth. We've got LJ the King. You'd expect him to come out and put in a blinder. King Cairo in eighth. Beavis in ninth, and Werribee did round out the top 10 until Kev the Gardener, the man on screen, relegated him back to 11th.
It was a good lap by Kev. It was over 1 second improved, so quite good. And oh, we've just had John Hanoi actually DNF in the end of the tunnel there, right near the chicane. He's just off the track, so hopefully that hasn't impeded anyone too badly, but there's no doubt that would have been a distraction. And that's both Alfa Romeo cars now out of this qualifying session without setting a time.
And Werribee's been given a grid penalty for an incident out on track as well. So he takes a 5-spot grid penalty. So doesn't matter how good he qualifies there, he's going to be starting behind the 8 ball.
Well, that's a big shame for him. What was that due to a collision? Was that maybe what put John out of the race? Let's check the race director for that one really quickly. Corner cutting. Yeah, can't see that in the race director, interestingly.
Just flashed up on the screen a few moments ago. I'll see if I can track it down for you myself.
In the meantime, let's jump on board with Hester. Currently P2 is on his hot lap at the moment. Just finished Sector 1, and he is looking for almost 2 tenths to get in front of Shinuti for that pole position.
Yeah, you're right. The only illegally blocking a grid penalty for.
Oh, okay. Yeah, righto.
And LJ the King gets exactly the same as well for blocking or a collision with Bass Baby. So, wow, there's going to be. Well, I thought that last night Novice might have taken the world record for the amount of FIA tickets, but maybe I was a little bit premature with that, Ben. We should whack up a poll and see how.
I feel like novice qualifying was quite clean, but then just that lap 1 carnage is where it all came undone. And there you go, Hester has pipped Shinuti for pole position by literally 1/1000th of a second. That could not have been closer.
Wow, that gives you an idea of how tough this competition is. We've also just got another penalty given out for Zeski for a collision with Striker as well. a grid penalty as well.
Okay. Yeah, and he's completely lost his front wing. Wait, with Striker?
Yeah.
Striker has... Oh, Striker's car has moved off of the grid.
So I wonder if that was, well, that's the problem. If that's just because of a bug in the game, he's not going to be able to get that removed by the race. So
let's jump on board with Joe. Joe will be the next car to come up to where Striker's car is. And we'll just jump into cockpit view, see if we can see where Striker's car is. It's parked off to the right-hand side in Sector 1.
it was still there, and he was well aware of it, Joe, that it was there. So good engineering by his crew to keep him informed that that car had not moved. He's on a pretty good lap at the moment. Shanuti now goes 1:10.971.
Yeah,
That's not
cracker of a
bad.
lap.
0.3 of a second quicker than Hester, then Buster. Bassink up into the top 5. Tadachi behind him. Zevsky, but then we go to Evis, LJ the King, King Cairo, and Darkley rounding out the top 10. Oh, mate, James, we put up some driver bios for the drivers that were competing to help out the commentators. And while we're looking at Darkley on screen, sitting there in the top 10, his one's quite entertaining. You should go and read it. He used to race in Formula One, apparently, from 62 to 70 to 1970, then took a 51-year break before he started league racing. So it sounds like we're in the
Interesting.
presence of absolute royalty here.
So that would make him how old if he was racing in 1950?
Be older than me, which I'd be happy about.
So who have we got on a hot lap at the moment? It looks like not many. LJ looks to be on a hot lap, so we'll jump on board with LJ. He was our first driver to set a pole lap, or sorry, a hot lap around here. And he hasn't actually improved that time since, so we'll see if now he's able to do it.
We know this guy can be absolutely rocket material on his day too, so let's see what he's able to do. Currently sits 8th, comes down across the start-finish line.
There you go, that's a new pole of 10.7.
That's what we expected. That's what we expected. Well done, LJ. That's a blistering time, but there's still 4 minutes of the session left to go, and as you know, the last 5 minutes is when the track rips up and the drivers are able to basically take half a second out of their lap times around the track. So it may not be concrete yet, but what can Shanuti do? Can he come back and put in another blistering time? He's in the pits at the moment. Bassink's out on track and is the only runner outside LJ that's on the track at the moment.
Yeah, it looks like he's about to start his hot lap. There is 33 Evis. No, sorry, not 33 Evis. Kev, the gardener? No, Huey. Huey in front of him that has also just started a hot lap. So we'll see what both of them can do. Huey yet to set a time.
Tadachi disqualified from qualifying for blocking pit lane. It's all happening.
Oh no! What happened there with Tadachi?
I have no idea.
That's devastating because he was quite high up there in the times and was showing real promise for the Ferrari team after Worryboy got slapped with that 5-place grid penalty. And now this. So that's going to be devastating for Ferrari. A 5-place grid penalty and a DSQ.
That is just not what Ferrari were looking for. In fact, give me 1 second. I've got a friend who's got a friend who knows somebody Ferrari. So give me 1 second, I'll find out.
All right. Keep us informed. So unfortunately, Bassink there invalidated his lap time in the chicane, cut the corner by just too much, but his teammate Huey crosses the line with an 11.7, which at the moment is good enough to put him into P6. And we have pretty much everyone else coming out of the pits now to set their final hot lap here at nighttime Monaco. So who's the one to watch? Probably Shanuti. Let's get on board with Shanuti. He's not got his ERS activated.
Okay, now I got to the bottom of what transpired there. Apparently, that car on the start-finish straight, um, it's on the start-finish straight to us, but it's not actually on the start-finish straight to everybody. So
Oh,
uh,
okay.
let's just hold fire on any comments in relation to that until we see what the gameplay is. But apparently, other drivers are seeing it in different locations, and Tadachi had it on in pit lane on him. So
Oh no.
yeah.
Yeah, righto. That's really awkward then. That's a big shame. Just to catch you up, HK, we're currently on board with Shinuti, who is doing a second out lap, it looks like.
Yeah.
And he is going to be fighting LJ for pole position. LJ also on an out lap at the moment, and will have enough time to get around. But Shinuti is in front of him, so we'll see how this goes.
And he's driving so well this season, Shinuti, too, isn't he? He's stepped up to on the game and made himself the number one in the team by a good margin. His teammate Valhalla has got a fair amount of experience. Let's see what he can do. Starts his run up the hill. Nice and clean through there. He's looking to try and break a 1:10.7. LJ the King holding that down at the moment, who's also out on track on a brand new set of softs as well. You may as well use the softs in qualifying. You've got a couple of them to use, so you may as well get them out. No point in saving them for the race unless there's a very late safety car. May as well just get out there and use those soft tyres to their maximum advantage because, as we
Yep.
say, 1:10.66 for Buster. He goes quickest now.
There you go. So, and Hester has now gotten in front of Shinuti as well. So Shinuti's gone all the way from P2 to P4 as it stands. So there is a lot riding on this lap right now.
Oh, this is very, very interesting for this
So
guy.
close to the wall there. So close.
And you have to be. You have to do it. You have to take it right to the wall. But that margin of error.
Oh, that's
going
going to cost him a lot. That's going to cost him so much time.
Qualifying about to end. Checkered flag comes out. It's going to be his last lap. He goes to second quickest.
10.7. Oh, but then he's beat by LJ again. LJ with a 10.3.
And 0.3 of a second quicker. Oh, that's ominous.
So Shinuti would have been on the front row ahead of Buster if it were not for that massive moment at the exit of Raskas, but he did an incredible job to save it. Is there anyone out there at the moment still able to beat these times? Werribee on a hot lap at the moment? No, doesn't look like it. Looks like he's on an in lap. Oh yeah, he's just straight on through the chicane. That's Bass Baby crosses the line, doesn't improve. Nordal out of battery, so it looks like he's going for a bit of a Hail Mary. He will not improve on his time, I don't think. No, he will not. He's coming into the pits.
Well, what an eventful qualifying session that turned out to be. Way more in it than I expected. So I'll run through those that have got their wrists slapped. You've got a grid penalty for Werribee. You've got a grid penalty for LJ the King, even though he has taken pole position. Grid penalty for Zeski, and a disqualification for Tadachi, and a ton of invalid laps as well. So the guys were really pushing.
Yeah, okay. So, as we all know, notoriously difficult to overtake here at Monaco. So I guess the question is going to be, who can keep it the cleanest for the longest here? And here is our official grid. Werribee P7, is that correct? So we've got LJ on pole. Oh no, however, LJ will take +5 positions. So Buster will actually be on pole, then Shinuti, then Hester, then Huey, then Evis, then Huey, then LJ, then Evis. Werribee will take 5 positions as well, so then it'll be Basink. Zevsky will have 5 positions, so then we'll have Wolf, Kinkairo, Werribee, Darkly, Bass Baby, Zevsky, Kev, Nordal, Joe, Striker, Valhalla, John Hanoi, and Tadachi.
Oh, this is going to be fascinating. I can't wait for this.
It's gonna be interesting, and it'll be really good to see if these Prodigy drivers can show that they have the skills to belong in Prodigy and avoid some of the carnage that we saw last night in Novice. Fingers crossed we get a relatively clean race. No, Ekim saying he wants to see a car upside down on
Yeah,
lap one. I
I'm
don't know
with
about
him.
that.
I'm with Beckham. Like, we all want to see cars
No,
upside down.
we,
It's
we
just
want
what it is.
we
As
want
long
good
as it's not
racing,
us, right?
HK. We want good racing, good battles. We don't want 5 people going around the track at the end of the race for 39 laps.
Well, Werribee and his team are about to resign from the FIA. They're just overworked at the moment, suffering RSI from typing in keyboards so regularly. So we got to make sure the Prodigy guys have got a bit of work to do for the next couple of days.
Flixie
No,
says he wants to see Novice turn 1 again. Oh,
I don't, Fluxy. I don't. I
yeah.
absolutely don't.
Who's the FIA for Prodigy? Should we jinx them or?
No, we'll leave them. We'll leave them be. I know a couple of the guys that are on there. They're actually really good. They're very thorough. So
Flipsy's saying in chat he's the FIA. Oh, and here we go. HK, take us away.
okay, we are set to go racing here at Monaco. Buster gets pole position for Red Bull. Chanuti tries to tackle him, and down the inside goes Hester into turn 1. The front 2 get through. What about the rest of the pack? Further back in the field, it looks like they may have put the Novice guys to shame. In fact, they do. They all get through, but Buster leads the way.
That was a cracking start by Buster and brilliantly done by all these guys to get through turn 1 and then the subsequent bendy straight pretty cleanly. We come down to the hairpin now. There's a lot of guys getting very close there. I saw a bit of carbon fiber go flying in the background. It looked like that may have been pieces of Bass Baby's wing in the Haas. However, I can't see any end plate damage. He's now going side by side with Kev. And it looks like Bass Baby's going to retain that position and almost get a move. Yeah, Kev now fighting with Joe behind him.
The bendy straight, is that what we're going to call it? The bendy straight, I like that.
Yeah, going up towards Casino and whatnot. Oh, and we've had a moment from Kev. Looks like he may have been forced to go straight on in the chicane and had to come to a stop to avoid any sort of time penalties.
And problems for Darkley too. He just ran a little bit wide in the second to last turn. That allowed Werribee up the inside, but he managed to maintain that spot. Werribee being cautious on these opening couple of laps.
Ooh, did Werribee just hit the wall on the exit of turn 1? That was a bit of a difficult angle. He's now facing a lot of pressure from Zvetsky and the Red Bull behind him.
Yeah, Zvetsky's is very quick too. But difficult to overtake here. It's just so hard. You can get a run on somebody, but you're not close enough to be deemed, having the right to the corner. So you basically have to let it come down to strategy most of the time.
Yeah, even with DRS down the start-finish straight, it's very difficult to overtake.
Useless, but a great job by Buster for Red Bull Racing up in front. He's almost got the DRS gap on the first 2 laps, so he's making hay while the sun shines. And Chanuti is right on the tail of Hester, keeping him very honest. Those 3 have pulled out on Huey, sitting back there in 3rd spot by 1.2 seconds.
Yeah, really good job by Buster to break that DRS 1 second to 2nd place in Hester. And I think Hester, as a result of that, may face a little bit of a challenge from Chanuti if Chanuti gets DRS. But as we said, even with DRS, difficult to overtake.
So the movers and shakers on this opening lap. Joe up 4, Valhalla up 5, Tadachi up 6. You've got Hester up 1, LJ the King up 1, Wolf up 2. And from a tyre perspective, you can see on your screen, it's a big cross section, isn't it? Joe on those softs too. Interesting.
Yeah, very interesting start for Joe on the softs. And 33 Evis, our first car here to DNF. Right up near the casino. It will not cause a safety car just because Monaco doing Monaco things.
Yeah, safety. People have been a bit unsure about this, but basically, safety car's not going to come out unless the track's blocked. Oh, and big problems for Huey. He's come through the chicane and tagged the wall. He's got a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings to add insult to injury, but he must have front wing damage. Does he go to the pits? No, he elects to stay
No, he
out.
stays out, yeah. He is losing a massive amount of time though, and now Wolf in the Aston Martin trying to go around the outside, but somehow Huey is the one with DRS, but Wolf still gets the move done anyway.
Oh, he's got massive understeer at the moment. He's going to try and hang on to the pit stop window, but oh, this is going to be hard. He's got a bit of a gap though, 2.6 seconds over Bassick.
Oh, no, he's got
Tag the wall.
yeah, so more than tagged there. I think he lost his entire front wing. So, yeah, he was just trying to push, and he was missing an entire end plate on the edge of that front wing.
His teammates come right up behind him now, so he's going to have to relinquish this. And because right behind Bassick's Darkley, who's looking very racy at the moment too.
Well, I think even if it wasn't his teammate behind him, he wouldn't really have too much of an option. With Huey, his lack of front aero is going to significantly impact him here. Though it is Monaco, so...
Well, if he's smart, he lets Bash through now and then blocks off. But yes, he's... Oh, no, he's hit the wall again.
And that's a full DNF.
And he's out.
So he was trying to go to... Oh, and Joe in the Haas has DNF'd as well.
Oh, no.
So that's why you got to obey the yellows, guys. You have to obey the yellows. You cannot keep going race pace through a yellow flag. And Monaco is as good of a place as any to prove that. So there we go. I mean, they're doing better than last night with the novice division. So we're up to lap 5 and we have 3 DNFs. That's better than 6 on lap 1.
And take note, no safety car.
Yeah, and even though the track's been close to blocked twice. So, that's a shame that happened to Joe as well, because he was our runner that started on the softs, and I really wanted to see how that strategy panned out. So, we've got a pretty even split, probably slightly more people opting to start on the mediums compared to starting on the hards. We'll jump down to Werribee, who's actually battling really hard with his teammate at the moment. So Tadachi blocking Werribee a little bit. Well, not so much blocking, but definitely slowing him down as Werribee on that softer compound of tyre, and it looks like Tadachi just let him through there.
Yeah, these guys, you know, obviously I'm a part of the Ferrari team. We all work really closely together, so I dare say that he wouldn't have held him up too much. And now he'll try and hold off Striker, who's made his way up from the back of the pack up into 13th. It's right behind Tadachi at the moment. And up front, Shinuti is all over the back of Hester and has been for the last couple of laps, but he just can't find a way through, such as the Monaco layout.
Yeah, he's definitely struggling to get past him. And who is that in front of Hester? That appears to be a Red Bull of Buster, still outside of DRS range, but it's getting a lot closer. And Buster's battery completely empty almost, to the point where he's harvesting. That's what made me sort of think it might have been a lapped car, but it's actually not. That is Buster, and he is on 10% battery compared to Shinuti's 87.
And he's what you call in fishing terms burly at the moment, because Hester's got 40-odd% and Shinuti has got 80%, 87% ERS. Looks like he's going to have a bit of a go as they go up the hill too. He's shaped up, hasn't used any of his ERS. He's banking it, I suppose, towards when they get close to these pit stops. These guys, I don't know, I think it'd be going around 14 to 17 laps on these mediums, the medium runners. The hard guys, as you know, old mate James, will be looking at about lap 19 to 22. But track position here is everything, so undercuts are a thing.
Yeah, absolutely. And like going to the hard compound tires, the thing with that around Monaco here is, like, if you want, the hards can do the whole race, really. Like, it is doable. Do a little bit of an Alex Albon in Australia type thing. So there are a fair few different strategy options and pit windows open to these guys, depending on how they want to play their cards. So Shinudi, with that excess battery, still not really looking to make much of a move at all. Don't know if he's happy to sit behind Hester at the moment, but he's definitely doing that. He's not looking to use that surplus battery, at least not at this stage. Buster still teetering on the 10%, but Hester unable to catch him.
Oh, big tank slapper there from Shinudi as he put the power down. One of the difficult things I find here at Monaco is when you come up behind a car and you're struggling to stay on the back end of them because of the way this place is. And you think, okay, I've got good ERS. I might just elect to stay behind because I don't know if I can pull away if I do overtake. But when you then overtake, all of a sudden you find out, hang on a sec, I'm a second quicker than this guy a lap. I just need to put my foot down and go and not use any ARS. So it can be a real deceiving thing from a driver's perspective to know whether you sit back like Shinudi or whether you attack and go.
It definitely looks like Shinudi is being held up a little bit. He has a bit more pace than Hester. I think the problem is he doesn't have enough pace to get past him. Because, yeah, you've got to be quite a bit quicker to go. And Shinudi, in that last lap there we saw coming down the tunnel section, actually had to use a little bit of his battery just to stay in DRS range after he had that bit of a moment, that tank slapper that you spoke about before.
I wonder if Hester's tyre wear is a little bit better because he's almost back into DRS range of our race leader Buster, who, as you mentioned, still very low on ERS, sitting about 13% at the moment. And he's using it on every opportunity that he can at the moment. So that's making it very difficult for him to try and be able to hold these guys off, I would think.
Yeah, I wonder if Buster had a bit of a moment, because Buster was starting to pull away a little bit there even more. And the gap was out to about 1.6 seconds. Although in saying that, it has just increased back out to almost that again as they go through the chicane there. So maybe it's looking like Buster doing a little bit well down the tunnel and the chicane sector 2 sort of area. And Hester maybe reeling him back in through sector 1 and the start of sector 2.
Yeah, you get the feeling that's a setup issue, don't you? That they're running a very different setup to each other where one car's faster at one part of the track. I'm dare suggesting maybe Buster has got a little bit less downforce on his car, which is giving him the straight line speed, but through the tight, twisty sections, they're seeming to be able to close that gap a little bit. But if he's quicker down the straight, they're Buckley's of getting past.
Yeah, exactly. It's not like there's a abundance of overtaking sections on this track, and the ones that do exist are pretty much down those straights. So maybe Buster's strategy of a lower downforce setup here will pay dividends by the time we get to the finish line. And Shinuti pretty much falling out of that DRS range as well, so he may well be out of contention to challenge Hester for P2 at the moment, unless we see, as you said, a massive undercut or some sort of strategy shake-up here.
Bit of an unsung hero is the man sitting in 5th at the moment for Aston Martin. Wolf, he's made up 3 spots since the beginning of this race. He's got Bass just outside his DRS range, and he's doing a pretty good job. Even though he's used a fair bit of ERS, if Bass decided to try and close up, he might have an advantage with 50% versus 15 at the moment.
Yeah, I'd say Bass probably not really able to focus too much on catching Wolf at the moment either, with how close Darkly and Svetsky are right behind him. Bass having to get a little bit defensive in some of these corners, nothing too crazy, as Darkly is a little bit further back, but definitely Bass probably a lot more worried about what's going on behind him than what's going on in front of him, at least at this stage.
Well, speaking of worried about what's going on behind you, Buster is almost about to be dragged back into that DRS range by Hester, who's just got a wriggle on at the moment and has absolutely pulled away from Shinotti, who's still sitting on about 50% ERS, so he's obviously quite happy to stay there. But it looks like the battle for the race lead's going to be on in earnest in the next about half a lap or so, because you can see now Hester has come into that DRS range for the first time in this race over Buster.
Yeah, it's looking like Hester's really starting to push, which makes me think he's probably looking to pit fairly soon as well. So now Hester with the DRS on Buster and a significant battery advantage because Buster's still sitting below or around that 10% as he has for most of the race.
Valhalla with the 3-second time penalty. And how good is it to be Hester sitting there seeing that red flashing light in front of you? You know, you're mine, baby, you're mine.
It definitely helps with that psychological game, doesn't it? 'Cause you see that and you just think, ooh, I really might have a chance of overtaking here. I know this is Monaco, but if he's harvesting and I'm sitting on, you know, something percent, actually, 40%, then we can definitely make this happen. Because your car's speed actually does drop. Your top speed drops by a little bit when you hit that harvesting percentage on the ERS. So it definitely does slow you down. So that, in combination with the DRS and Hester using his battery, might be enough to get him past Buster.
Now, something that's happened off camera while all that was going on, we spoke about, you know, track position being absolutely vital with 80% ERS at the moment. In position 7, Shanuti has pitted. He's now gone onto the hard tyres. So he's elected to go early. He's got a ton of the ERS, and his aim will be to try and smash in a couple of absolute qualifiers on these hard tyres to see if he can jump not only Hester but Buster as well. And by the look of it, he's absolutely on rails at the moment.
Yeah, it's great to see those hard tyres have somehow come up to temp so quickly. That looks like in the space of less than a lap they were good to go, and he was really had a fair bit of confidence in him. Let's see how he goes here in turn 1. A little bit slower, but not too bad. So yeah, we'll see if this undercut is effective. And we have our next pit, King Cairo, come in. Oh, and with a replacement wing as well for King Cairo.
I dare say that damage may have been on for a while and he just did the hard yards. Hester, 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings. So he's been given a tag. So LJ the King, Buster, hasn't reacted to the pit stop by Shanuti. This could be costly.
That 3-second time penalty is really going to hurt him here. Oh, Buster has a big moment there, though, and dives into the pit. So we will see. That puts Hester as our current race leader. And the thing we really want to watch now, where is Buster going to come out? It looks like it's going to be well and truly in front of Shanuti, even though Shanuti had clean air for that running up post-pit.
Unless something... Oh, hang on, let's see. Now, Shanuti comes onto the start-finish straight, but he's going to have warmer tyres over Buster, so he needs to start squirting that juice as hard as he can, but I think that gap's going to be a little almost insurmountable.
Yeah, well, not only the gap, but the 4 cars in between them as well. Buster maintaining a pretty decent track position after that pit because he and Hester were so far ahead. So Buster comes out P3 after his pit stop. We've got a yellow in Sector 3. Sorry to cut you off there. We've got Wereboy. Did he cause that? I'm not sure what caused that. Sorry, HK.
No, you're right. Well, Wereboy's in the pits at the moment, so he's out. Fluxy, the man we like to call God, he's saying that LJ's penalty was hitting was a 5-second penalty for going past a spun car. So that penalty may be removed. So we'll probably just call the race and not worry about the penalties too much.
Can that get removed if he serves it though? Which he has to, right? Because he has yet to stop. Yeah, he's yet to stop. So he'll end up serving that 5-second penalty when he hits change his tyres, right?
Yeah.
And I'm fairly sure served penalties cannot get removed.
Well, Shanuti's found pace now. He's gone 1:13.4, fastest lap of the race, but sits back there in 6th spot at the moment. The undercut didn't work for him that time around.
No, it didn't, but it looks like it... I mean, depending on how Hester goes, it may work on Hester. So Hester has opted to go really long in response to the undercut, whereas we saw Buster when I think it was 2 laps long on Shinudi, whereas
Yeah.
this is Hester going 4 laps long now. So it may be less effective, it may be more effective. What are your thoughts on that?
I don't know. It's interesting. It's a gamble. You need to be about a second quicker to overtake here. Now, the longer Hester goes, he's gone into the pits now, so we're about to find out how this is going to play out for him. But the longer you go, the fresher your tyres will be towards the end of the race compared to your opposition. But is it going to be fresh enough to give you an advantage to overtake? Yeah, 50-50 on that. But Hester's going to roll the dice, and let's see how it plays.
I think something that's working in Hester's advantage right now is Shinudi's actually hit a little bit of traffic here, being Wolf and Bassink yet to pit, so on old tyres.
But Buster's right up behind him at the moment as they start their climb up the hill. Darkly gets a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings. The Red Bull under attack. He knows that there's one chance to get back here. Tags the wall on the exit of the turn. Can't get an overtaking manoeuvre done. Hester may have just pulled off an absolute gold card performance here.
Yeah, it looks like the overcut going long in response actually the way to go here, at least tonight here at Monaco.
Well, he's still got an advantage of tyre temp at the moment, but he's all completely out of ERS. It's 10%, they've tagged!
Oh,
they've hit each other!
There goes Buster's entire front wing.
No, there goes Buster's entire race. A 3-second penalty for Shinuti as well. The Red Bull that was looking so solid, and it's all fallen apart thanks to one tag.
Yeah, that's going to be devastating for Buster. Just 2 laps on those hard tyres. He doesn't have a second set of hard tyres, so he's going to have to go on to probably used mediums. I don't think he has new mediums at this point yet. They definitely look used that they're putting on there. Can't really tell from this camera angle.
Now, that's going to be really tough for him because they're just not going to get to the end. Well, they will get to the end. They won't blow tyres, but gee, around here, do you want tyres that are running around the 55%, 60% mark? And Werribee comes screaming. In fact, Tadachi goes screaming past. So too does Striker. So our previous race leader now finds himself in 10th spot, battling with Darkly.
Yeah, Shinuti still being held up a little bit. Both Bassink and himself have managed to get past Wolf now, as those mediums, 16 laps old for Wolf, and really started to drop off a cliff. But Shinuti looks like he's still getting held up a little bit by Bassink in the Alpine.
Now, just for those that are keeping track of the penalty play, LJ the King leading the score lines at the moment with 5 seconds over Hester on 3, Bassink on 3, Shinuti on 3, Darkly 3. In fact, everyone else on 3 except for LJ the King's probably the easiest way to say that. I get paid per word, so I just try and get as many as I can.
Shinuti really pushing that battery, trying to get the move done with DRS. So close up the rear end of Bassink there, but still couldn't get the move done. Bassink absolutely slamming the battery as well to try and... Oh, Bassink runs wide and Shinuti looks to make a move around the outside. They go wheel to wheel, but we get given a horrible angle by Codemasters, and I want to see what's going on. And Bassink will yield the position going into the hairpin. So Shinuti does get ahead.
Buster's out.
Oh, and Wolf
Buster's...
as well. Did they get tangled together? Where did that happen?
There were 3 of them nose to tail on the track when we started talking about Shinuti, and I jumped across and didn't see the issue.
Post turn 1.
Yeah, both of them into the wall. On the exit, on the right-hand side. Actually blocking pit lane, I think you'll find.
Yeah, so... Wow. That's both of them out of the race. I wonder, you mentioned blocking pit lane there, the pit exit. Wolf actually had 0 lap old hard tyres when that happened. So I would be interested to see if that was Wolf exiting the pits, probably on cold hard tyres. And I'd say that has been just a little bit too tricky for him to manage there, probably pushing a little bit too harder than the amount of grip he had.
Maybe you're right. I think it was Striker and Darkly that were involved in a three-way clash with Buster. But isn't it amazing? One of the hard things about this game, not just in this game, but in real life as well, is when things go wrong, they tend to snowball. Buster, slight issue, didn't get the overcut done the way he wanted to, came out onto the track, got right into the middle of a sandwich, and everything started falling apart. It's like they say in airline crashes, it's never one thing, it's a group of multiple things stacked on top of each other that give you the headache.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can tell he's probably sitting there and he's just saying, he'd be cursing. He's like, oh, if I hadn't had that issue with the front wing and had to pit again, then I wouldn't have been in that position when the incident happened and I wouldn't have DNF'd. And exactly right, as you say.
Most of our listeners wouldn't be aware, but there was a Formula One driver by the name of Murray Walker, and his famous cliche was, F1 backwards is if.
I have not heard that one before. I have, of course, heard of Murray Walker, but have not heard that phrase before.
He's a legend of a guy, and absolutely. I actually did commentary a few times with him. He's great value. I tell you what, I'd like to be Hester at the moment, wouldn't you? Sorry. Oh, Tadachi into the wall,
and then darkly into the back of him.
Had no choice. He was probably on the anchors, full locked up, wheel turned. But when you tag the wall like that and just come to a sudden halt, it's just you're a passenger.
I wonder how much front wing damage was caused by that. Darkly looks to have both end plates. Tadachi missing his left side end plate, so he's probably going to have to pit. When you were talking about airline incidents and stuff like that there, I thought you were going to start talking about Niki Lauda.
No, Niki Lauda, no.
Because he actually started his own airline, didn't he? Post his F1 career?
Yeah, predominantly taking care of business people flying around the world, and then it sort of expanded from there. He's a very wily character, old Niki Lauda.
It looks like we're pretty much settling into a pace in this race where there's not too many battles occurring on track at the moment. We still have a couple of guys still to pit, namely LJ, our current race leader, who will also have to serve a 5-second penalty when he chooses to pit, and Basink in P4.
And just for the record, at the moment, Hester sits there with 71% ERS. He's behind LJ the King with 17 seconds, and we know LJ has to still pit, so there's a bit of breathing space. But then you go back to Shinuti, who's got 27% in the can and an 8.1 second deficit to try and make up. Sterling drive so far by Basink, you have to say. This will effectively be up into the top 3 for him if he can hang on to it.
Yeah, he's done really, really well. It's going to be interesting if that 5-second penalty will be enough for LJ to come down behind Basink. I think it will be, but it's going to be pretty close. If I turn on gap to leader here, so Basink is 30 seconds from LJ. And how long is a pit stop here, roughly? Like, do you know, HK? I'm not too familiar with exactly
that. Yeah, I can't remember. I think it's around 27 seconds, but I could be way out. Unfortunately, in my sim runs, I didn't get that. I didn't make it to the pit stop. So, but yeah, you would think it around. You would think you'd be around about the Basink mark, wouldn't you? Which will make it really fascinating.
I think he will come out between Basink and Svetsky, I think, because of that 5-second penalty. I think if it wasn't for the 5-second penalty, he's pitting now, so we will find out.
Zilla's saying 22 to 23 seconds, so we'll time Zilla, and if he's wrong, we'll block him from chat for the remainder of the year.
Right, got 1,
no, we won't. So let's see what the total time is. He's now making his way back down pit lane.
Ooh.
Now, where is Basink?
We have a retirement from Bass, baby. The start of Sector 2, right before the tunnel. It looks like he's just hit the wall too hard there.
That's both Husses out as well. Now, he's actually cleared Basink by a good margin. So,
even
you might be right. 22 seconds.
Even with the 5-second penalty, yeah. So that's actually a much shorter pit duration than I had assumed.
Now, we've got a race on because Hester's out in front by 6.5 seconds over Shanuti, then 1.3 back to LJ the King on medium tyres. So he's going to have a massive grip advantage over the opposition. He's played a smart card here, and the Mercedes team have really nailed this pit stop strategy. Now he has to try and make it work with overtakes at a place that you can't overtake.
Yeah, that's an excellent strategy by LJ. Seems like the hard to mediums is really viable here, and we'll just have to see how it ends up going for Bassink and Striker. Striker obviously a little bit further down, and will probably drop a number of positions when he chooses to pit. Bassink, however, should come out only one position behind, so Bassink should actually be P5 post his pit.
Well, this is going to get fascinating.
Bassink doing another lap. So, are the hards to softs, is that a viable strategy here?
You
Oh,
can.
LJ's out!
Oh, you're kidding.
Turn one.
Oh, no. 5-second penalties for Shanuti for causing a collision as well. You don't know if he was just an innocent victim to that. Oh, in fact, they're both down there. They're both sitting there. So, oh, no. This is not good. And no safety car yet.
I'm really surprised that didn't cause a safety car, because that was essentially the entire track blocked there.
The McLaren, no front wing at the moment. He's got Zeski and Striker, who's now come into the play. The McLaren goes to the outside, the Red Bull to the inside. This is going to be sketchy down here.
Svetsky got past him prior to the hairpin, which he's going to be really happy about. Darkley's going to be quite upset. Oh, sorry. No, that's not Darkley behind him. Who is that behind? Shanuti. That's a lapped car somewhere.
Oh, really? Is it? I thought it was Striker.
That's John Hanoi. Yeah, that's John Hanoi behind him. So actually a lapped car there. So he will be annoyed by that, but it is not the worst. Oh, and we see Nordal doing a 17-point turn on the hairpin. There are cars coming, Nordal. Oh my god, get it. Whoa, no. What are you doing? Is Nordal going backward? No, he's straightened it up. He's going the right way now. He is getting blue flags, and he should yield to the Ferrari, and he does in the entrance of the tunnel.
I don't know what would be worse. I don't think there could be anything worse than being a lap car here at Monaco.
I mean, I think I was down by like 4 laps last night.
You certainly wouldn't be posting those lap times up on your top 10 hits, would you?
I mean, just ask Bevo about it. Or is that too soon? I think Bevo did 6 pit stops last night or something like that, because he just kept getting wing damage and all sorts of stuff. So he was actually down quite a number of laps before he unfortunately DNF'd. And it looks like Cairo looking to make a move on Werribee, as we've got a big battle here between Darkley, Werribee and King Cairo.
It's a great dice too. Bassing sitting in a good position at the moment. 21-second gap. He should theoretically be able to come out in 3rd spot on a brand new set of either mediums, or if he's going for the soft tyre option, and he'll put himself right in this race. You could see a potential podium, if not a victory, from Bassing. But watching that battle that you were talking about, Werribee, after getting that 5-spot grid penalty, has worked his way up into 5th spot at the moment and is doing a great job. His positional changes, he's up 6 positions from his start. So he'd have to be happy with that if he can hold it together.
Yeah, well, he doesn't have any penalties yet either, so he's got that going for him, which is nice. But that was so close there by Cairo and Werribee, and there's contact there. Oh, he definitely touched him there. Fortunately, no one goes around, but there was a rear wing right up the gearbox of Werribee from King Cairo. He's getting a real good sniff.
Eckham in chat just says that Elite Boys will show them how to do it tomorrow. You may just to put karma on yourself there, bro. Be careful. But good luck tomorrow night anyway to all the Elite guys. I actually think they'll do a really good job. I'm looking forward to watching that race, albeit from work.
Yeah, I reckon it'll be pretty spicy. And hopefully they can keep it clean, because at the moment... as Werribee goes around the outside of Darkley on the hairpin, who's going to get the better exit? It's a little bit of rubbing there, but nothing too bad. And Werribee gets the position.
That was a great overtake by Werribee, and very... Well, I don't know how you'd even describe that other than being optimistic where he decided to stick the car up. Usually that's one car only through there, but both of them made it work, and credit to both Darkley and Werribee for not making massive contact.
Yeah, I think there was a little bit of rubbing there, but nothing too crazy. And considering it's a relatively low speed corner, it wasn't too bad. And Darkley is going to just absolutely hold up King Cairo here now. Werribee is running away. King Cairo's getting really desperate to pass him. We're seeing a big bit of contact here in Rascasse. Cars are going around. The track is definitely blocked. Two people facing the wrong way.
Safety car, no.
Oh,
I
man.
feel a bit sorry for Darkley there. I felt that he may have been given a little bit of a helping hand there in running a little bit wide, which then
Yeah.
caused all that. But we'll let others determine if that's the case. I only caught the last seconds of it, but he was way, way, way wide, and there were another couple of
Yeah,
cars extremely
definitely.
close to him.
It definitely looked that way, didn't it? We'll leave that for the FIA, but there may have been a little bit of encouragement going into Rascasse. The one who's really cheering about this, though, is Werribee. He's now run off 10 seconds down the road as he just managed to get ahead of all that incident and managed to avoid the drama there.
And typical Werribee, just have a guess at how much ERS the guys. Don't look, don't look. Have a
Oh,
guess.
I looked, I'm sorry.
At 100%. Unbelievable. Zeski still got heaps in the tank. You were talking about him during qualifying and how this guy can put in some quick laps. Here he finds himself legitimately in a podium spot at the moment and has a pretty handy margin over Werribee. So unless a safety car comes out or he makes a mistake, you have to think it's going to be a given. And don't forget Bassing has got those 27-lap-old hard tyres on.
Yeah, I'm really surprised to see Bassink hasn't pit yet. I was about to say, Svetsky not only on for a podium here, but probably P2, depending on what happens with Bassink. Cairo has DNF'd.
Oh, no.
Where is that? Oh, it's after turn 1. So the 15-lap-old mediums just couldn't hack it anymore. Not sure if anyone else was tangled up in that incident or not. But he looked to be sitting there in turn 1 by himself.
It's a shame. He was having a very competitive race too, Cairo, so he'd be gutted with that.
Oh, Fluxy in the chat has just informed us that Cairo had accidentally set his tyre pressures for the race to what he uses for time trial.
Well, that explains a lot.
So that's definitely not going to help him. That's really rough. He actually did a really impressive show considering his tyre pressures were off by that much. That's really good by him.
Yeah, total credit, because those tyres, both front and rears, would have been overheating. The car would have been sliding everywhere and around a concrete jungle. That's just not the way forward. But he still was able to be very competitive. So we did our lid to him.
As we were saying just before that happened, Bassing, do you think he's going to go into the softs here?
He's got it now.
He's doing hard to softs.
He's in the range. He only needs, if he pits this lap, he can go to softs and take them to the checkers.
He'd be silly to put mediums on.
Yeah, because they will do 9. So is he going to pit?
No, he's going one more at least.
Well, Striker's come out on a brand new set of softs, so it'll get an idea of what sort of pace we can expect to see out of Bassing should he choose to go down that road.
Speaking of Striker's actually right behind Bassink as well. And almost has the pace to unlap himself here, at least get in front of Bassink. Hopefully we don't see any incidents occur, as that would be an absolute nightmare for Bassink. So I think watching Striker be this far up his rear end really is an indication. Oh, we've got a DNF by Hester. Where is that? That has occurred in the chicane post-tunnel going down the hill. Bassink has actually let Striker by. Striker will arrive on the scene, and it's almost right on the apex. So that puts Bassink into P1 at the moment. Svetsky only 3 seconds behind Bassink after Hester's DNF. Will now be race leader once Bassink pits. And Bassink has a lot of time to make up too, even with fresh softs. and Basic's still not pitting. We're on to lap 31 now as Bassick crosses the finish line to commence lap 31, and he's still not pitting. Hufu Cowboy asking what position did Bass start in? He started P7 and Zvetsky started P14, so that just gives you an indication of how long these guys have gone here on these tyres and stuff like that. Bassick, the only driver in the race, still yet to pit.
I got to give full credit to Bassick too, because he writes the FIA briefings, and he said in those briefings, patience is a really big thing here. And I'm not surprised he let Striker go. And in fact, he's letting quite a few people go that aren't really, in his race. Zesky's just got past, albeit for P1 at the moment, but with another pit stop required, Bassick still need to sit there and fight him, but he's just not coming into the pits. I'm stunned.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Zvetsky is now past him is just an indication. There he goes, finally. Yeah, the fact that Zvetsky's passing him on track like that is just an indication that, mate, your tyres are done. You need to pit.
Softs.
Yep, there they are. Let's hope he doesn't get too excited with the softs. Doesn't get too... how do I put this? Doesn't get too overzealous, overestimate his grip. Because I could see that happening quite easily.
I'm going to speak out of school here, but Bassick's, well, he's managed to get out in front of Werribee, hasn't he? So, yeah, that's good. That's good, because those two have got a little bit of history. And I said to Werribee coming into this one, I'll open up a ticket for you now. He said, well, I haven't raced yet. What do you mean? It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. I said, just in case, you know?
I mean, Werribee actually having a pretty good race so far. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a massive comeback from the Scuderia camp. So too Tadachi back there. And what about Valhalla? Up into 6th spot for Valhalla at the moment. That's awesome for him. And I hope that really lifts his confidence. The guy can drive. It's just down on confidence at the moment because things haven't gone his way. So to see him up in the top 6, absolutely outstanding, Valhalla.
Yeah, it just goes to really show you, like, I mean, there's an element of luck here in Monaco. Oh, no, Shinudi! What happened there? He spun out in the chicane, but I've not seen someone spin out that direction before.
Well, he's trying something new.
He's mixing it up a little bit.
Isn't it funny, old mate James? You know, Cappy's having a go at me for talking up Ferrari. Last year he wouldn't have had a problem with that. Now that he's swapped camps,
you've always been talking up Ferrari, even before you were in the Ferrari team. Long ago, you've been talking up Ferrari.
Oh well, Bass. Let's see what he can do. 19 seconds the gap. 39 laps in total. He's absolutely screaming at the moment.
Yeah, Bass is not going to get Zvetsky unless there's any sort of major incident. Just 19 seconds in 6 laps is just not going to happen. I don't care how fresh your tyres are.
Yeah. What about 5.6 seconds for Shinuti and Werribee? What's your tipping on that?
Look, that's more doable. However, Shinuti has that penalty of 3 seconds, so I think that will be a factor that will just make it impossible. Whether or not Shinuti can get him on track, I think Shinuti can get him on track. I don't know if he will, but I think it's definitely possible.
Yeah, we're all racers. We don't care about the penalties. You just go Bassick 112.65. So he's making the most out of those softs. And John Hayoni, a 3-second penalty for multiple warnings as well to join the black and white card crew.
I'm blaming Skipper as well for Shinuti spinning in that chicane. As Skipper specifically requested in the Twitch chat that we see Shinuti, and then about 10 seconds after we swapped to him, he had a bit of an incident and spun. So Skipper, that's on you. Skipper says worth it.
That's Bassick going, how much ERS has he got, mate? You've got 100%, dude. Just concentrate on your own race. Oh, maybe he's doing it for Tadachi. That's right. Tadachi's trying to bridge that 12-second gap because he's under massive pressure at the moment is Tadachi. By the looks of this, is it lap traffic? Yeah, it's lap traffic
Yeah, it's all
behind
laps
him. I think
traffic
it's
at the moment.
Striker. Yep, Striker trying to get past him, and he's probably better to just let him go and concentrate on his own race. Do a Basink.
Yeah, Tadashi really should just let him go. I mean, sure, he's a lapped car. He shouldn't really be overtaking, but Striker definitely has the pace to unlap himself here on the fresh softs. And Darkly is pitting. So I think
Ooh,
Darkly is going, trying to
fastest
take the
lap.
fastest lap off of Basink. Yeah, he wants those 2 points. Ooh, we just had a spin? No, we had a yellow for some reason.
Yeah, and that's Striker. He's fallen right off the back of Tadachi, so he's had an incident, I dare say,
Oh no, that was
in the
John.
tunnel.
That was John.
John, was it?
Yeah.
My
Yeah, I think it
apologies to
was.
Striker.
Yeah.
It might have been John Hayoni that we were looking at in the first place. Oh, no, he's around the
Ooh.
back section of the track. So.
I don't know if we missed something. Wereboy must have had a massive incident because Shinudi is now on his gearbox. So I think we missed Wereboy having a big incident there, and that's going to give us a battle here going into the final stages of the race.
This is for a final podium spot, and look how quick that McLaren looks with the 80 number on it at the moment. Right up behind Wereboy, there's only a car length as they start their way into the tunnel. 40 odd percent for ERS. For Shinudi, is he going to have a look down the inside? No, Wereboy's awake to it. Drives defensive.
Wereboy's still... Well, he's actually started now, but I was going to say he was still sitting on 100% battery, so now maybe finally this will be his wake-up call to find that overtake button on his controller.
Do you get extra points at the end of the race if you've got more ERS? No, use the button. Sorry.
No, you're 100% right, HK. Like I don't know why he's been sitting on 100% this whole race, and that may now leave him vulnerable to a move by Shinudi going around the outside into turn 1. Isn't able to get alongside, but does a switchback. So they're coming up to the casino section now. Shinudi gets ahead. The 11-lap mediums versus the 22-lap hards. Just way more grip.
Just too much to do battle with. A brave go, but Shinudi's down to 10%. And now Wereboy will have ERS, so he might be able to line himself up for a last lap lunge. But with those fresher tyres, well, they're 11 lap old mediums, so they're probably not that fresh. Come lap 30, 38, 39, they might have seen better days. So he's not out of this, but he needs to really start using that ERS and stay with him if he wants to give it a go.
No, the mediums are quite old for Shinudi, but it's not like Wereboy's hards are all spring daisies either. Yeah. So and
oh, he's at the wall! Wereboy's out! The Ferrari's gone out. He's tagged the wall on the exit of the right-hander and has removed the left-hand side of his car as Darkly goes 1:11.903 to get his fastest lap of the race.
Yeah, wow. I mean, that takes the pressure off of Shinudi. Shinudi doesn't have to worry about that anymore. I mean, I don't think he was really going to have to, but yeah, Shinudi moves up into the podium positions after a few incidents further on.
You have to say he deserves it, though, don't you?
Oh, definitely. After this race, the top 3 have really fought hard for those podium positions, and arguably pretty much everyone still standing has fought pretty valiantly to be where they are.
Zeski from P13 to P1 with 1 lap to go. Tadachi into 4th from 16th. Valhalla 5th from 13th. Striker 6th from 11th. John Hayoni 9th from 10th. So he's even picked up a spot, and will pick up an extra one once he gets past Wereboy.
Yeah, and Nordal has gotten into the points. Similar strategy to some of us last night. I know this is definitely my strategy, was just don't give up, just keep swimming, as the famous quote goes, and Nordal picking up points just by not hitting the wall too hard.
And he may not be able to catch Zeski, but Basink has brought that gap down to 12 seconds on those softs. This has been a stunning drive from him.
Yeah, it's interesting that he went so long. Like, I feel like if he had pitted maybe like 5 laps sooner, maybe not 5, maybe like 3 laps sooner, he'd be a lot closer to Zvetsky in the closing stages of this race. I definitely like the hard to soft strategy, but I think he just left it too late. That being said, though, I can't see what percentage those softs are on at the moment, so they
Yeah,
could be fragged
nine
as it is.
9 lapses there. After that, you really start to feel it dramatically. So it's really tough.
But he didn't pit
But
till like 33, didn't he? It was really quite late.
yeah, he probably wanted to leave himself not have that soft tire drop off was probably what he was thinking. We'll ask him if he does manage to finish in second and we get him into the commentary box. We'll ask him what his thought processes were. But race leader for Red Bull, Zeski, making his way down to the tunnel for the final time, final lap underway. And this Red Bull pilot, what a stunning performance. 13th, kept himself out of trouble, finds himself in P1 with just a few more turns to negotiate. But the few turns that he has to negotiate are quite tricky too, so let's not get overhyped yet.
Yeah, there have been a couple of people already DNF in this exact section of the track he's coming down through, but he's looking to be okay. Those 24 lap old hards probably are begging for the end of this Monaco circuit, and
Well,
they're about to get him.
it's not all about speed here at Monaco. It also requires grey matter, and Zeski has proven that he is number one at Monaco. Takes a victory at the world-famous circuit that every race car driver wants to win. Bassink has still got, he's just coming through the start-finish line now. He gets second. What an outstanding run from him. And Shanuti, man, you deserve this podium so hard, boy. You have fought like absolute hammer and nail to try and get this one. And so happy to see you up there. He's down one spot from where he started, but he'll take that podium and all those points that go with it as well.
Striker and Valhalla almost battling for the on-track uh, finish here. Ooh, as I say that, I may have just cursed Striker a little bit. He loses the rear end. I think that will tell him I'm on 11 lap old softs. I should probably just bring it home. Otherwise, lest I lose some points for no reason. So he
Awesome
chills
from
out a little bit
Valhalla.
from that.
Absolutely stoked for him to finish there in fifth spot. It's two McLarens in the top five. How's that for Constructors' Championship points
Ooh,
at Monaco?
6 once you apply the post-race penalties, but we never know with incidents. Maybe some of them could be removed. We'll just have to wait and see once the finalised results come out.
Well, that was fascinating. That was absolutely fascinating, and well done to Zeski on a solid drive there.
Right, so that gives us our preliminary positions for the end of Monaco here in our Prodigy division. So Zvetsky P1, Bassink P2, and Shanuti P3, playing any sort of FIA action. We've then got Tadachi in P4, Striker P5, Valhalla 6, Darkly 7, John 8th, Nordal 9th. And then we've got our DNF cars of Werribboy, Hester, Kinkaro, LJ, Bass Baby, Buster, Wolf, Kev, Joe, Huey, and Beats. Just really
Well,
quickly scroll through the race director here, in
oh
case anyone
yes.
needs it.
Oh, in case.
Just in case.
I'd love $1 for every time somebody looks at it after this race. I really would.
I think in the past the clips of the race director on the stream have been like the most watched clips by far.
Oh, it's too funny. That's too funny.
Alright, so let's get some interviews here. We'll see if we can get Zvetsky, Bassink, and Shanuti a podium positions here. Do we want to try something a little bit different, HK? Do we want to get them all into the box at once?
Why not? Why not?
Let's do it. Let's mix it up a little. So who are we grabbing? We're grabbing Bassink. We're grabbing Zvetsky. Where is Zvetsky? There he is, down in Red Bull. And we're grabbing, who was the other one? My head's going Shanuti? No, Shanuti was 4. Who was third?
Shanuti was third.
Shinudi was third?
Yep.
Whoops, Shinudi. Yep, cool. Shinudi just left the server, so I guess we'll just do Bassink and Zvetsky. Right.
Zeski's got his mic on now. Bass has got his mic on. First of all, Zeski, congratulations. What a masterclass using the grey matter over the right foot. Congratulations.
Hello.
Eh,
Anyone? Svetsky? Bassink?
Hello?
Hello.
Hello? Hello?
Hey, mate.
Hello?
We can hear you now. We can hear you now.
All right. Look, the old man still got it. Even with the old strategy. I mean, to have a no war hit Monaco podium, after
Massive.
starting from P6 and going down to P7 or 8 after turn 1 is a bit of a laugh for a track. Well, it's been a consistent couple of tracks. I mean, it's the Deft Week Trail, so part 2. So to walk away with points is pretty huge.
The thing that impressed me the most, Bassing, from your drive tonight is you practiced what you preached. You were patient, you picked your battles, you took on those that you felt that you could beat, and you sat there and were patient throughout. It really was a very sensible drive from you. And it looked at one stage that you were actually on there for the race win, but you elected to stay out a little bit longer than we thought on those hard tyres over going to the softs. What was the thought process there?
Just longevity of the tires, really. I was always going to go to lap 32. I mean, I could have pitted when Buster and all those and Shinudi and that came together. But I just was like, I'll just keep pushing on. I knew that I was going to be probably P4 or P3 coming out at that time. And then I just was like, I'll just keep going, see what happens, especially with the hard tires. You could go that little bit longer. And if something happened, then I, was able to reap the reward. But pitted for the softs with about 6 or 7 laps to go, and then I was basically laughing for the last 7 laps, just being in P2. So no, it was good fun.
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. Why did you, go so long on the hards?
Because they could survive. Yeah.
But like, at least from our point of view, what percentage were your softs on at the end there, or did you not really have a look?
I didn't really have a look, but I did like a practice Grand Prix, like the full distance, doing the exact same strategy just before the race, and they got to about 40%. My hard tires could have gone another 5 laps. They were just ticking front left was just ticking 70 at the time I pitted, so and my rears were like 55.
It seemed like, I know this is only us in the commentary box, is quite different from you guys down on the track, but it seemed like the amount of time you were losing around that like lap 30 mark, it felt to us like that would have been your optimum pit lap, but you just kept going, and you even ended up getting taken by Zvetsky on track.
Yeah, I mean that last lap when I came in, I just wanted to have a lap in the lead. Didn't work out fully, but it take what it is. I mean, to be honest, I was surprised I even got past turn 1 after watching last night's race. So to get to the end, it is good fun. So yeah, no, it was good. Congrats to Zvetsky and all the rest of the boys. I think Nordal took my pit stop challenge award, so he that's congrats to him. Don't know if it's a great title to rock around with, but yeah, congrats to him.
No worries, thanks, mate. Zvetsky, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, he is there.
There we go.
Congratulations on the
drive.
race win.
Yeah, thank you. I was not expecting that. I started right down the grid, really. The focus was to get through the first lap and score some points. But yeah, I don't know. As the race just kept going on, the position just kept ticking up one every now and then somehow ended up in the lead. So yeah.
What was going through your mind throughout that race? Because you said you were just hoping to get points, but when you started working your way forward through those positions and you started to realize, hang on a second, we could be on for at least a podium here. Did the strategy that you came into this race then change?
No, I just stuck to my plan of just starting on those mediums, and the top 5 or top 6 wasn't even really a thought until I was on the hards already. So it was just about looking after the tires, not sliding around too much or locking up in the corners, and keeping them as nice as possible for the end of the race. And yeah, it just became about staying calm in the head and thinking about the right foot and not overdoing it and just getting to the finish line.
And you pitted early on those mediums, didn't you, from memory?
Yeah, I was supposed to pit like 17 according to my strategy, but I was in behind, I think it was Wolf in the Aston Martin, and so I just decided to go for the undercut there. I also had Darkley, who I don't know if he was trying to undercut me or if he was, I don't know if that was just his strategy, but I noticed he came out right behind a pack of cars, so I stayed out for that extra couple laps to try and get an overcut and come out ahead of that pack, which it was very close, and I just about did. And I honestly think that was the moment of the race that really decided whether I was going to get as high as I did or not.
That's outstanding for your championship hunt this season too. That puts you right in the pecking order. Are you thinking that far ahead, or are you just going to live in the moment?
Of course, I'm always thinking about the championship and eagerly sitting there to see what the actual standings are when they come out all the time. But at the moment, you've really just got to try and think race to race and getting to the end and getting points and consistency, because that's really important, especially in the early parts of the season.
Or was it 16th or something like that, or 13th up into where did you start?
Yeah, I can't quite remember. It was somewhere around 13th,
Yeah.
14th, I
Yeah,
believe.
13th into a victory at Monaco. As I said in the call, a racetrack where every driver wants to win. And you were able to do it from 13th on the grid, dude. I would literally be going down to the cupboard and grabbing some champagne now and just tipping it over
Oh
my
yeah,
head.
yeah, absolutely. Oh, I need something. I'm sitting here. I'm hot and sweaty. It was a long race, and yeah,
We'll
yeah, I got to
put your webcam on and we'll put it on the stream and we can do a shoey.
No, I don't have my webcam set up, unfortunately. But yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
excuses.
excuses.
yeah, yeah,
No, well done, buddy. That was a really, really good drive.
yeah. Thanks, guys.
All right, thank you. So I think that will pretty much wrap up tonight. I just want to remind everyone, we've now got the driver bios in the Discord, so feel free to go ahead and update your driver bios, chuck something in there. You would have heard earlier tonight, HK read out a couple bits of information in there, quite funny, quite humorous, so I'd love to see that sort of stuff. And please join us tomorrow night, same time, so 8 p.m. Australian Daylight Savings Time for our elite division here at Monaco, and we'll really get to see if the guys in elite can put their money where their mouth is and keep it on track and clean. Do you have anything else you want to add, HK?
Yeah, I just can't wait for tomorrow night. I think it's going to be another sensational one. I mean, this week has provided a lot of entertainment for the viewing audience. It has to be said. It has been an extraordinary week so far. Some people have walked away unhappy, some people have walked away happy, but that's part of motorsport, isn't it, at the end of the day? And I think tomorrow, as I think Eckham said correctly, could well be a masterclass as our number one boys tackle this circuit, and I just can't wait. So I hope you all enjoy it, and I hope you enjoy it, old mate James, as well too. And thank you for having me along.
Oh, no worries. It's always a pleasure to have you, HK. Thanks, everyone. Have a good night. We'll see you tomorrow.